All right, let's turn our focus to this now. The ANC is hosting the Liberation Movement's Summit that gets underway today in Kempton Park. The summit is being held under the theme Defending Liberation Gains, Advancing Economic Development, Strengthening Solidarity for a Better Africa. For more on this, let's now cross to our reporter Khayelihle Khumalo, who is live for us in Kempton Park. Kaya, a very good afternoon to you. So there is anticipation, of course, around this meeting that the leaders of these parties will use this summit for honest reflections. Many, of course, if not all, have come under fire for failing to deliver on some promises made. Speak to us about what to expect.
Well, certainly, Nati, there is a great deal of expectations when it comes to the litany of issues that are facing all these countries. But what is very fundamental in this regard, Nati, is that these are countries, a lot of them frontline states, who open their doors for South African freedom fighters to have an opportunity. For example, when you talk about Tanzania, it's a country where the ANC, the MK really had its people deployed. They're getting training in Angola. So there's quite a lot of expectations, especially now with the economic challenges facing a number of countries. But really, to reflect on the significance of this summit, we do have Ms. Zulu here with us. She's quite a seasoned diplomat, a former minister, but of course, she knows exactly how it's like to live outside the country. Ms. Zulu, welcome to SABC. Let's look at the significance of this gathering, especially now where it's quite a number of challenges, whether you're looking at the geopolitical tension, but looking at the issues of economic development affecting so many countries all over.
All the reason why we have had to have this meeting. The SGs of all the countries have been meeting from time to time, but having the heads of state and the heads of government, but the leaders of the different political parties, it is high time that they had a conversation. And as you rightfully say, the environment has changed, the situation has changed. The global environment is actually much more challenging than it has been before. So these heads of state who are in government in the different countries, it's time we took a step back. Yes, while we are celebrating the liberation itself, it is important for us to look at what's the way forward, because celebrating the leadership celebrating freedom and liberation is what all our peoples in all the countries appreciate. But right now, they want to know more about how we're going to steer the ship in all our countries in as far as the common challenges that we're facing today.
Ms. Zulu, looking at the common challenges, I would imagine issues of, you look at what's happening in the US, the tariffs, so there's a great deal of anxiety and uncertainty. And I would imagine for the former liberators, it's all about making sure that they recalibrate, they rework the systems, but also collaborating together in terms of the economic issues, in terms of deepening trade, the intra-Africa trade, the issues around, for example, the continental free trade area to enable citizens from these countries to have economic freedom this time.
You wouldn't have summarized it the way you have, and that is fact. What is very important at this point in time is unity of the leaders of these liberation movements. But beyond leadership and unity, it is about being sensitive to the challenges that are being faced by our people. That's poverty, unemployment, inequality, and economies that have a potential to grow and be of service to these people. This is the main reason why we are here as liberation movements, to say, yes, we brought the freedom. Yes, we remove apartheid. Yes, we remove colonialism at the time. But what is the future looking like? And what is it exactly that we need to do as leaders? Firstly, it's the issue of governance, good leadership, and ensuring that we respond to the needs of the people. Secondly, is to make sure that we build strong institutions of governance so that our peoples in all the countries have got institutional recourse, whatever the challenge might be. Thirdly, it is about ensuring that the economies of our country grow for the benefit of the people, so that they can have the jobs, so that they can create the jobs for themselves, so that the money that is collected, for instance, from everybody goes back to the people and makes the change that we want. But lastly, also, As a region, we have an agenda for SADC, but we also have an agenda for the African continent. So it's about talking about us as liberators, as our institutions, but more in terms of what we can be able to do to strengthen the institutions so that they can respond to today's challenges. The global environment is very, very critical. I mean, if we don't step up, we have to ask ourselves a question: what is our defense to all this? Our defense, as Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma said it this afternoon, our defense starts with unity among ourselves as leaders and as liberators of our different countries.
And just before we let you go, ma'am, still on the geopolitical developments, to allay the fears of South Africans, we know with South Africa and the US, it's been a very frosty space, as it were, and now this proposed bill to sanction some members of the ANC. How is the party feeling about this, especially from the US? This is the second largest trading partner for South Africa with a mutually beneficial relationship. Just the ANC's observation with these developments.
It's very unfortunate for us as the African National Congress, but quite frankly, we've been through such challenges as a liberation movement, as a government. The region also has been through this. You will recall what Zimbabwe has been going through because of the sanctions. We still do believe that we need to sit around the table and have conversations. The bill has been passed just one step. We're looking towards the next step and the next step, and nothing beats us standing up and going and standing up for ourselves to explain that such a bill really undermines our bilateral relations between the countries. But we are hoping that we look at this beyond ourselves as an African National Congress. The liberation movements are here. Zimbabwe has gone through this, so we'll share our experiences and see how we can be able to handle it. And I think the African National Congress has already expressed itself, but at the end of it all, it's about us standing up for ourselves as the ANC, for the country, because we know what it is. Once people are sanctioned, we know exactly what is the impact of that. So we'll do the best that we can to try and find ways and means of ensuring that we understand each other between South Africa and the United States. And also we know, as the African National Congress, we do have friends in the United States. There are people who are going to stand up for us because they believe in us as the African National Congress.
All right, Ms. Zulu, thank you so much for your time. Really quite a very comprehensive response about so many issues, really. But the bottom line here is all about making sure that there is introspection amongst all these former liberation movements, whether you're talking about Angola's MPLA, CCMA in Tanzania, ANC right here in South Africa, SOPO in Namibia. So quite a very, very critical moment indeed.